Kevin Feige actively continuing to try to destroy what is left of the MCU. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you so much being here. If you are new, thank you for giving it a shot. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel as we continue on this journey. So, what am I talking about with Kevin Feige? Is this an overreaction? Well, I'm going to let you decide. That Kevin Feige, once again, because people, yes, they are complaining. Now, I don't even want to use the word woke or DEI because I think that just becomes very, very divisive. And so we're going to try and approach it in a different way. But of course, that is what Kevin Feige's talking about this here. He says, I said this before woke and DEI became a thing. I said this, sorry, I said this before woke and DEI became a thing. And I'm still saying it after. Marvel is the world outside your window. It's not Gotham City and Metropolis. This is New York and LA. And yes, there's also Wakanda and Asgard, but it is all made up of the people who make up our world. This Nerdrotic says Disney Marvel is the West Hollywood outside your back door. Now, that's an interesting way to put it. He didn't really answer the question that he was asked, but if we go back, see, this is I think the beginning of the end for Marvel when they were at their peak, riding high. This is back in 2018, I believe it was. I think this was between Infinity War and Endgame, and I think we all remember the one scene in Endgame where all of the female characters came together. As you can see, Marvel boss Kevin Feige wants more female than male heroes in the MCU. That was the goal. Why that would be a goal, I have no idea. Why you think it is necessary to put that out there, I have no idea. But he did, and I think we've seen a whole lot of that since Endgame as we've watched the decline and the destruction of the DCU. And of course, it set them up for it always being an excuse. If a movie didn't do well, it is the fault of the fans. Blame it all on the fans. They're the this ist or that phobe or whatever, whatever trigger word you want to use to try and shut up any kind of debate or an opinion that is different from yours. That is what Kevin Feige has done. And of course, as some people said, and I would agree, one of the things I thought of, and as you see here, start from Star Wars timeline, somehow best comic films had the most diverse cast with zero pandering. Go back to the drawing board, figure it out. Exactly. You had, and just as an example of how bad this was, don't forget, Black Panther did phenomenally well. Black Panther is a popular character from the comic books. Of course, to give you an idea of what Kevin Feige talked about with the goal of more females is you had everybody on board with that nonsense and the gaslighting because you all the media all the time when Black Panther came out about this being the first superhero led, by a black man, or it might have even been person of color in general and so forth, which of course, as you see here, is they somehow forgot about the iconic Wesley Snipes trilogy for Blade, which is a very, very big diss. I don't know if it was superhero in general or just Marvel, but either way, but they kept conveniently forgetting about Wesley Snipes. And then we go back to X-Men, which sort of started this whole thing. And you had characters like Rogue and characters like Storm and characters like Jean Grey that were all part of the X-Men universe. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I completely forgot. Raven as well, Mystique, another huge character. And but here's the thing: these were all popular characters from the comic books, successful characters from the comic books. And by the way, even separate from the comics book stuff too, is you can go way back to two of the most iconic movie heroes of all time are Ripley, female, from Alien and Aliens, and Sarah Connor from Terminator, right? What is the difference? And here's where we run into the problem. They decided to make it all about this. That's the problem, Kevin Feige. Instead of naturally having women in roles, because you have plenty of successful female superheroes in the comics that are popular, you decided to make it solely about that. So what got lost was good storytelling, good characters, interesting characters with character development and a character arc, the way, say, someone like Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark had. It was an epic character arc. We don't get that for any of these women. They are girl bosses. They are strong women. They're just basically men who can do no wrong, but they're women. They degrade and destroy the male heroes. We've seen that over and over again, and none of this was necessary. Black Widow, right? We're going to look at the Wanda. Two of the most popular characters in your MCU run were women. You had WandaVision as a show, which did really, really well. Is it me, or did you mess up Black Widow, Kevin? Not the fans. The fans would have loved for a Black Widow led movie during the Marvel run, maybe even at two or a trilogy in there, the way you managed to do for Thor, the way you managed to do for Iron Man and Captain America. We would have loved to see that, right? How about a Winter Soldier style movie for um, Black Widow, and maybe you get Hawkeye in there as well? The fans would have absolutely loved that. Instead, you waited until after Black Widow was dead in Endgame to then put out a crappy Black Widow movie where we already know how it ends because we just saw her sacrifice herself to save the universe. And on top of that, you make it a bad movie. And then you try and screw her over money by releasing it on streaming the same day it was released in the theater. Absolutely wild. So we're continuing with this. We got and nothing to the actress. I'm sorry, I completely blanked on her name just now, and I don't want to look it up and mess you up, but Miss Marvel, right? That was no one has anything against the actress, but the writing was terrible and no one is interested in the character. Ironheart, failed comic book character, so of course no one was interested in the TV series. You tried to do a spin-off with Echo. No one cared, not because it is a woman, but because no one cared about the character. You have great female characters in the Marvel universe, and you have great stories told in the comics, and you refuse to use them. And that is why Marvel continues this downward trend. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, help us grow. I really do appreciate it. Go have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you later.